day-to-day life got you down? Tired of the mundane routines of your job, going there to work, then going home to sleep only to wake up and go back to work? Weary of dealing with the fancily dressed people you owe money to? Then leave your troubles behind and take a trip to Iskandar, a magical place of fun, sun, and total relaxation. Book a trip now through Dubtalk Space Cruise Lines for a special deal. Iskandar, a perfect place. Warning, the Dubtalk Space Cruise Lines contain strong language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Also, be aware that spoilers for RobiHachi as well as any other anime may occur, so be aware if there is a series you haven't watched yet. Finally, the views and opinions of those individual participants in this episode do not reflect Dubtalk as a whole. Stardate 58239. Forget about Stardate. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another fine episode of Dub Talk. We here are to bring you through a very special dub, one about space travel, the grand openness of the universe, and running away from the debt guy who wants to cut your head off because you didn't pay him back because you're an idiot. And his buddy who he sent to collect the money from you has decided to tag along because you're going on vacation. And why not? Yes, that's right. We are covering the dub for a very nice little comedy that came out this season, Robby and Hachi. The tale of two nare-do-wells and their robot on the run from gangsters and inadvertently helping the PR of various places while they do it.
Wait a second, I thought that was Space Dandy.
Well, there's the thing.
I won't lie. I was told that this was Space Dandy, but I'm looking at these two little chuckle fucks, and they kind of look like they're Doug and Kirill from Doug and Kirill.
That's the other point of reference I've heard applied to this. It's those two. Apparently, if you put Space Dandy and Doug and Kirill in a blender, this is what pops out. I think that's ridiculous. This is clearly some sort of 70s comedy that fell through a wormhole. I can see it now. It'd be an international co-production. Robby would be Elliot Gould. And Hachi would be whoever the hot teenage idol from Japan is at the time. And the robot would probably be played by, let's say Bootsy Collins. That's funny to me. It's just Bootsy.
No, Bootsy should be young.
Ooh, you're right. Bootsy should be young. Robby baby, you owe me some money.
We'll just get Mel Blanc to play the robot. There we go. Problem solved.
Here to help me cover this dub, we have Party.
Yay.
Andrew.
I am a slave to the booty.
You should get that looked at. And Roots.
Beady. That's a problem, Roger.
You've killed me. How dare you?
Oh. Like, 3/4 of the audience aren't gonna get that joke, but...
I don't get that joke. I'm young.
I feel like that might be part of the problem, Andrew.
I mean,
are you saying our audience is full of nuts?
Century, 25th?
24th and 1/2 century.
No, that's Duck Dodgers, you heathen.
Buck, duck, who gives a fuck? Wordplay.
Oh dear.
Anyways, RobiHachi's a show.
But Andrew, that's the joke. That's literally the joke.
I do get that now, yes.
Anyways, as I said, we're covering RobiHachi, a wild space comedy about debts and vacations and intergalactic tourism.
And trying to get alien booty all over the place.
Oh, you bet.
Trying to get some tail and some fin and some of the gills in there too.
Maybe. Tentacles for sure.
Oh, definitely the tentacles. That's how you know you got the good shit.
Boy, I picked a good crowd for this one, didn't I?
Yeah, right.
Anyways, shall we get started, gentlemen, before
yes,
we derail any further? All right.
We're not on any rails. We're flying through space without a paddle.
Fine. Shall we stop trying to pull away from the tractor beam?
We may, yes.
Stay on course. All right, good.
Full speed, Captain.
Thank you. I don't watch enough Star Trek to know anything off the top of my head. Red shirt, sure, let's go with that. Engineering core, I guess. Anyways, to start, let us begin with our ADR staff, who have brought us this wonderful show. Gentlemen, did any of you have any predictions?
I did.
Shoot.
I had a prediction for the director, and I had a prediction for writer, because I don't usually guess the writer, but I kind of took a crapshoot in the dark, and I figured, why not? I figured maybe somebody, because I figured in regards to directors who have done sci-fi or sci-fi related shows, I figured this person was not a stranger, but I'm not sure if I've ever seen them do a sci-fi comedy. However, I know they are in fact very good when it comes to comedies in the form of two adorable, chaotic little girls. And I thought Chris George would be a good fit for the captain seat. As for writer, I took a shot in the dark, and I figured Clayton Browning seems to do good things. I'd be curious to see what it'd be like to see what he'd do.
Alright. Hardy, Roots?
I do not make predictions usually for director and writer, as you know.
Fair enough. Roots?
I actually joined this episode after episode 1 aired, so I have no predictions whatsoever.
Also fair enough. I also don't have any predictions, because like Hardy, I don't do director and writer, because I don't know.
I just watched an episode of this one day, I think, when it came out, and I figured, let's see what we can do with this.
Makes sense. So, given that, Andrew, the only one with predictions, is almost right. Directing this, we in fact have Dallas Reed, who, as far as I can tell, at least as far as the anime front, doesn't have a lot of roles under his belt. He did some assistant ADR direction work for Tsundere Children, and that's about it.
Dure Children. Tsundere Children, there's a couple Tsunderes in there, but still.
Whatever. What do you want, professionalism?
It's not like I want professionalism or anything, Baka.
Alright. Also, that was very weak. You needed more emphasis on it.
Baka.
Not that emphasis.
Alright.
You're going for cute girl, not Hanna-Barbera character. Anyways. And Dallas is our director, but he also got a little assistance on episode 4 from Chris George, who did some assistant ADR work on that one. So Andrew is partially right. And on the script, Chris George, you would know for doing direction on such things as Pop Team Epic, Steins Gate, and Black Clover, where usually he's the one directing Dallas. So that's a fun twist.
Hey, the student has become the master.
Apparently so. And on ADR script, we have Leah Clark, who has written such shows as Chio's School Road, Kami-sama Kiss, and Space Battleship Tiramisu. So, gentlemen, what do we think about the direction and script writing here? Roots, why don't you start us off?
Sure. So, I made a very interesting comparison when we started up the Skype call. If Space Battleship Yamato, 2199, and 2202 were basically a love letter to, Funimation's best sci-fi shows of, the mid-2000s. The direction and script writing for RobiHachi, I would probably, and I don't want this to be assumed as, an insult, because this is I absolutely 100% mean this as a compliment here. This is, a parody of the kind of dubs that Funimation did for sci-fi shows in the mid-2000s that were, maybe kind of packaged in with the stuff that they really wanted in the licensing contract,
Mm-hmm.
Just, it kind of feels like those shows where an actor would get into the booth, read a page of the script, and they're like, they have to do what to form the robot?
Now, if you're talking about Aquarium, I'll have you know that's Christopher Bevan's baby we were talking about.
Actually, that was more of a dig at Darling in the Franxx, but I digress.
Let's be real, it's easy to take a dig at robot shows. Who are we kidding?
True. But yeah, I really like that the, in particular, the script writing feels genuine to the shows that RobiHachi is actually legitimately parroting. Which, holy crap, the Pluto episode, but we'll get to that. Oh my god. Oh, and it's all the way down to, like, the kind of corny choir at the start of every episode singing, "Let's all go to
Let's all go to Isakanda."
Like,
Like
all
the
go
best
to
part of
Isakanda.
every episode.
like, the show is just filled with those little touches that they, I'm sorry, I'm trying to form words in my head, but nice little touches that get sort of peppered in. Like, it's nice. And then on top of that, this has probably some of my favorite one-liners in this year's crop of, simul-dubbed anime. So, yeah, great job, guys. Direction is also very solid. I would find it hard to believe that this is the first thing that Dallas Reed has taken a main directorial role in, but that's speculation, so, yeah. Great job all around. Oh, and casting's good.
Yes. Hardy, why don't you go next?
Let me just say, I love this script so very much. It just clicks with me. I know sometimes I get uppity, and it takes me out of the experience when people throw in a lot of slang or modern what have you, like terms and whatnot. Here it just feels like it belongs there, and I believe I keep forgetting some of the zany one-liners that get peppered in throughout the show, but yeah, it's just the script gets me laughing all the time, and it's well directed too. We'll get to the cast members later on, but regarding our main cast, they were not who I expected, and yet I was very pleasantly surprised with their performances that they pulled out. So yeah, considering that this is one of Dallas's first directorial roles, you would not be able to tell me that this is his first time. This sounds like a very professional product, and you could definitely tell that this was a Leah Clark script, because it was very similar to the to Chio's School Road, and it was which was also my favorite script from last year. So I think everything is well done.
All right, Andrew.
Okay, so first things first. This is a funny show. My God, the dialogue. It sounds like, I feel like the show is already like pretty amusing, but the script in English is really selling a lot of the jokes and the delivery, and there's a lot of good dialogue I can pinpoint. Some I will pinpoint for certain character sections, but I'm just going to say one of the moments I think I knew I was in love with the show was the dialogue with the two of them in the robot. And just the banter.
I know where this is going.
Let's see. There's two in particular I want to highlight.
Oh no.
First was
Cover the ears of your young ones, people.
any idea what we do next, bottom boy? Please don't call me that, Mr. Top Heavy. It was one of my favorite exchanges between Robby and Hachi. But the actual one that killed me is, I'm not used to getting so much sass from my ass, and then the robot Iku being like, shut up and grab my rear. And it's like, God. Okay, you know what? There's one more I have to mention. They used Spaceballs as an expletive in this show. That alone is basically Golden Globe worthy.
I mean, it's Spaceballs the lunchbox.
It's Spaceballs the Japanese animation.
Children's toy. Spaceballs the breakfast cereal. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love it.
Where's my Spaceballs a Rogue visual novel? I'm down for that.
So if this show was a movie from the 70s, who would Mel Brooks play?
Oh, Mel Brooks would 110% be young.
No, we want Bootsy Collins to be young.
Alright, fine. No, Mel Brooks would just be Iku then.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. But back to the actual direction of this particular show. Dallas Reed. Not only is he a very talented actor, and not only is he a man of civilized culture and knows that Makoto is best girl from Persona 5. Love you, Dallas. He is also a very strong director, because part of what makes a good comedy works is both the dialogue and the good comedic timing and direction. And this is basically the first time at Funimation seeing Dallas in a solo directorial position, as far as I can tell. And while he did also work on one of the episodes of Suridure, which is also a show that's very pivotal about having good comedic timing and reactions, so it seems, as far as I'm aware right now, Dallas Reed is somebody who is very capable when it comes to good comedic deliveries, and this show has plenty of them. Chris George, of course, was probably assisting as well. Would not surprise me, this is not proven, but would not surprise me if this was recorded in the same studio that recorded Black Clover, is my particular guess, because you kind of have the same similar people in that. It's okay, Dallas, you go in, I go out there now, But yeah, it's just very, very, very funny, and I am very, very impressed with Dallas's work. Chris George helping too, but Dallas's work in regards to RobiHachi. This was a lot of fun, and I'm very entertained by this. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. This is a really fun dub. I think I will join in the chorus of saying the script is really good. It's just really sharp and funny. My two favorite bits are probably when Yang and his crew arrive on Mars hoping to find Robby and finding he is not there. And Yang's complaining about how barren Mars is, and he's like, there's nothing there! No, wait, I'm sorry, there's a tumbleweed. There's a tumbleweed just slowly rolls across the screen. My other one is... Now, as you may or may not know at home, in American popular culture, Martians are supposed to be little green men. This is not true in Japan. In Japan, they basically look like what the Martians in War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells look like, kind of big heads, tentacles. So they're arguing about whether or not Martians actually look like that.
That actually explains a lot of, going back to Suridure, the first episode of that, where they're talking about eating takoyaki balls and looking at the stars, thinking they look like little Martians. So that actually explains that a lot more now. Thank you.
Yes, in Japanese popular culture, aliens are usually like octopus-looking people.
Okay, that explains that a lot. Thank you.
If I just open a bunch of things just now make sense all of a sudden.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. So Robby and Hachi are arguing about whether or not they actually look like that, and at one point Iku interrupts and just says, "You're both wrong and ugly," which is such a wonderfully mean-spirited insult. It's just so good. Yeah, this is the writing on this is just really strong. It's good, but it also feels natural in a weird way. There's a looseness about this that I usually don't associate with a lot of dub script writing. This feels very on point. This feels like it could have been a script for a Western show that was where it was being written for the animation before it, rather than an adaptation of another one. I'm really happy with this. I think the direction is really strong. I think as you mentioned before we were recording, this appears to be Dallas's first lead anime direction. I think we were wondering if maybe he'd prior gotten some work on visual novels or something, because we were saying he's done some stuff on some of Jill Harris's visual novel stuff. But kind of regardless, this is really good. He's got the chops. I've been super happy with this. I got about like halfway through the first episode and was like, man, I'm liking this a lot more than I was expecting. This is really good. Can I get more, please? What, 12 episodes? Yeah, okay, I'll take that. Yeah, I'm really happy with this all around. This is a really well done. The script is great, the direction is great, the casting is wonderful. This is just so good. To the point where, like, even though there are more prestige-y, good dubs coming out right now, like Fruits Basket, I think this might be my personal favorite of the season so far, just because it's so very in tune with, like, my interests and what I like.
It is your brand in a lot of different areas, basically.
You don't get a lot of anime that are about dumb mascots. Which is a thing I like enough that I follow an entire Twitter account that's just about Japanese mascots.
Yeah. Justice for Chitan, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Free Cheeton,
like,
2019.
It was like, you know this show also reminds me of?
What?
The thing that comes to mind when I watch this, particularly when they're doing the PR bits, is not another anime. It's, Hardy, you're probably familiar with this. It's the Weird Al song, The Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
A similarly, like, loving tribute to everything, like, sort of cheap and schlocky about tourism and tourist traps. Like, it very much has that thing of, like, this is stupid, but we also kind of like it on a certain level. And I appreciate that. That's not a tone you find in a lot of media these days, or in general.
We spent a lot of money on this mascot. We're gonna use this mascot.
No, just the fact it's like, what's her deal? It's like, oh, she came in at half off. And it's like, we'll get to that. Yeah, no, this is a really high quality dub. I'm very happy with it. And on that note, shall we move on to our first cast section?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Oh, yes.
All right, so far, as you've been following the show, you know it is mostly about Robby and Hachi and Iku running away from Yang and his cronies, hopping from one planet to another on their way to Isakandar, which is not the place from Star Blazers.
We
which
promise
has
it's not the
name as
same
it.
place. We promise. We promise.
Actually, you know what? I haven't been watching ahead in the show since I've been following the dub. For all I know, it is the same place. We don't know yet. I don't even know if they've gotten there.
Like, I just want them to reach Iskandar, and it's just like it's just the biggest ball of twine in Minnesota, basically.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be great.
Just a big tourist trap that, like, there's nothing really there.
Just places to waste your money and regret.
Who at Funimation is the closest sounding to Weird Al Yankovic?
I don't know.
We'll circle back around to that. Probably
Sure.
never, but anyways,
We'll make this claim and then forget about it later.
basically.
Anyways,
Dubtalk.
I thought you were gonna follow that up with something.
I also thought you were going to follow it up with something. We know we're Dubtalk.
I was gonna do like the trademark ding, but
Roots, you gotta be careful with that ball, my friend.
Anywho, so as they are traveling around the universe, they'll spend an episode stopped at a place where they will usually get up to hijinks, make a bunch of money that they'll then immediately have to spend on some repair or something, and usually inadvertently solve some horrible PR problem they're having. To start us off, will take us to a couple of places, both of which are oddly water-based. Before they go to Isakandar, they have to stop at basically like a galactic checkpoint, which has a bunch of hot springs attached to it. And right before that, they were on a water planet. It's populated entirely by mer people. And in both these places, they meet a few people. On Merfolkland, they meet a nice fishman named Gyo. Gyo, thank you. Who is he's working at a restaurant where they serve fish. Yes, they comment on how weird it is that mer people are serving fish. What you gonna do?
Don't think about it.
Yeah, don't think about it too hard. Where he is trying to catch a famous elusive fish local to the planet, which if you get it, you get this enormous bounty. They'll basically leave you set for life. In addition, we also meet his manager at the restaurant, who I don't think has a name. He's just a manager. But he's very eager to get you to buy his wares and give him a bunch of money.
His name, as we put it down here, is Merman Manager, so we'll call him Mer Manager.
God damn it.
That's a pun so bad, you might as well get mermaidered.
We got some death clock in this music
throw
reference.
it back. I don't think we can use it. Just throw that pun back.
Yeah. Catch and release.
God, you think
Yeah,
that
exactly.
pun's bad? Wait till you get to our next character.
Oh dear. And on the hot spring terminal, they meet a Kappa woman named Kapako, who unfortunately has had an unfortunate encounter with this underworld boss who has exposed her to something that leaves her unable to help cope with the world. And unfortunately, Robby and Hachi have to meet this boss. And who is he? Why, he's a wombat. But not just any wombat. No. Specifically, he's the wombat from Cute High Earth Defense Club Love. If I read the Wikipedia article correctly, he's the wombat that gives those boys their powers.
You are correct. And a thing that's probably worth mentioning right now, actually, this is animated by the same studio that does Cute High Earth Defense Club Love and Cute High Earth Defense Club Love.
No, only the second season. I think I want to say it was Dio Media who did the first, but it is the I think it's the director and a lot of the staff who worked on Cute High Earth Defense Club are doing this.
Okay, so they did the second season. I thought they did both. Okay. But there is now a cinematic universe connecting these two, and that's this fucking pink wombat.
Yes, who as it turns out, he the only way he traumatizes people is that he exposes them to so much love that they feel underwhelmed in other aspects of their life. Because once a pink wombat is showered with love, really, what more is there to it?
Once you have been loved,
life is peaked.
Once you have been loved so hard, how can you?
Keychain.
Well, yeah, of course.
You can buy the
Complimentary keychains.
Complimentary. You want to buy the keychain, right?
Complimentary.
Complimentary keychain.
Buy the keychain, buy the toys, buy the stuffed animal, buy the body pillow,
Buy the flamethrower.
buy the vibrators on the side. Promise we're not going to tell anybody.
Oh my god, like a wombat body pillow. It would just be a pillow.
I like that. But did we have any predictions for these characters?
Not
Absolutely
for these
not.
characters, because I especially did not expect to run into the wombat from a magical boy show in a sci-fi space comedy.
No one expects the wombat.
No
Yeah,
one
I
ever
also
expects
stand
the
No.
for reasons
Yeah.
mentioned prior.
Well, in
Nobody
that case-
expects the Spanish Inquisition either, so.
No. Spanish Wombat Inquisition? There's a site. But in that case, let's get on to his playing these fine roles. Gyo is being played by Aaron Dismuke, who you might know for such roles as Leonardo Watch from Blood Blockade Battlefront, Reinhard von Lohengram in Legend of the Galactic Heroes, difficult German subtitle I'm not going to pronounce, and Pico in Ping Pong. The manager is played by Brian Massey, who you know as Dick Gumshoe in Ace Attorney, Lad Russo in Bakano, and Isami Enomoto in Star Blazers 2199. In case you're wondering, yes, if someone has been in Star Blazers, I will make note of that, because look at what we're watching.
Space!
Or Legend of the Galactic Heroes, for that matter. If space is in the title.
Yes.
There's a theme tonight.
Oh, you bet. Kapako is played by Felicia Angel, who you would know as Toru Hakakure in My Hero Academia, Makoto Harada in Star Blazers 2199, and Shoutier Bloodfall in Overlord and Isaiah Quartet. Which reminds me, I should watch Overlord if they're naming people Shoutier Bloodfallen. That's very much an Amon kind of name.
I mean, the main character's a skeleton. I'm surprised you're not watching it already.
I actually didn't know he was a skeleton for a long time. It was just a show everyone talked about I'd never heard of. And the Wombat is being played by Robert McCollum, who you know for such roles as Shinya Kagami in Psychopaths, Susumu Yamazaki in Star Blazers, and, of course, a role you would obviously associate with a cute and cuddly wombat, Baki from Grapper Baki Maximum Tournament, the 2001 Baki anime.
Ooh.
Oh, you bet. But on that note, what do we think of these performances? Same order as before?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Ritz.
Okay, so these characters really didn't do a whole lot, so I don't have too much to say. But I really liked how Aaron Dismuke basically played Gyo as this really plucky and determined guy who figures out, oh, yeah, turns out, because the whole thing is, like, the merfolk have been living on the surface for so long that their gills are supposedly too weak to, swim for long periods of time. But he's just like, oh yeah, turns out I just have to train. So, like, I really like this. I like Plucky Aaron Dismuke. It's a good. I don't know what the word for this is. It's a good look for his voice. There we go. That's clever. And I can't speak any ill of Brian Massey in like anything. Cause he in a similar manner to Cocytus and Overlord. He's just a big cinnamon roll. Like, oh, and like not to mention Token Rambu, but like he's just the big cinnamon roll here. He's just warm, cheery, energetic.
He can convince you to eat his own people.
He could convince you to eat his own people. There we go. Yeah, it's great, and I don't remember much about Felicia Angel in the episode she's in. I know she sort of played Kapako as a bit love-struck, which, she did a really good job with it. Don't get me wrong. It's just she kind of blended into the background, and I mean, Robert McCollum only gets like 1 or 2 lines in the entire episode, but it's Wombat from Cute High Earth Defense Club Love, so we have to talk about him. Because, oh god, I actually watched both seasons and really enjoyed it. And, like, this kind of makes me hope that Funimation can one day, go in and dub that as well. Because that's, like, more people need to watch Cute High Earth Defense Club Love.
Look, Roots, don't look a gift pony can in the mouth, okay?
Oh.
I went there. This is technically also produced by Pony Canyon in Japan. Fun fact.
But, like, I also really like that Robert McCollum just kind of... He kind of did Wombat, like... It was... it's hard to describe. There we go. I really enjoyed it, though. So, good job all around.
Hardy.
Yeah, I really don't have a whole lot to say about these. I think I agree with Roots in that I enjoy listening to spunky Aaron Dismuke. He kind of gets his chance to save the day at the end of the episode. Brian Massey as the Mer Manager, he's got this sort of funny way about how he talks. He's like, this is not acceptable. I guess we will have to put you to work. And it just got this weird quirk to it that is just very entertaining. Again, as far as Kapako is concerned, she doesn't really make a whole lot of a impact on the episode, but she's played well. And just the sheer surprise of hearing Wombat in general, and him and the voice of Robert McCollum coming out of this cute little pink fuzzy animal is just it was so adorable. He's like, I want to bring you love.
I mean, and it's also made kind of funnier by the fact that in the Japanese version, Wombat is like played by an old man.
Yeah, he's played like a 70-year-old actor. So
oh god.
Yeah. So now it makes you wonder if they got someone age appropriate instead and got like our Bruce Elliott to play Wombat, how would it turn out? So, but yeah, I think it was funny. So I like these casts. That's all I have to say.
Excellent, Andrew.
Mer Manager is nice and quick. Brian Massey has a very fun, authoritative voice. He sounds like he works in the service industry very well, and also is no stranger to cannibalism. I don't know.
Look, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole of how mer people and actual fish relate to each other. It's going to be a big headache that's never going to get resolved.
All fish.
It's also like octopus making takoyaki. It's weird.
Okay, those were at least mascots. These are actual, like, fish people serving fish.
To be fair, I mean, fish in general are cannibalistic. Like, sharks eat other fish.
Yeah, fish in general do eat other fish, so...
Remember, kids, all fish are equal, but some are more equal than others.
Yeah, and it's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings.
Look, I live in a house of pescatarians. Meat and stuff, you treat those animals kindly. Fish, fuck them and eat them. But, actually, you know what, let me, okay, actually, let me rephrase that. Do not have intercourse with your fish before you consume it.
Well, I mean, there is the character that Brent April plays in the episode we didn't mention.
Okay, look. Fuck 'em and eat 'em with the hot nurse fish lady has a whole new meaning. And boy, she is very hot. Anyways, just to bring this ship around hard, because this is making me look very bad. Which, to be fair, is not hard to do. Okay, so quick tangent before I talk about Gyo-Gyo. When he mentioned that he had a wife, I swear to God, I thought the punchline was going to be that he is engaged to the hot fish-ish nurse. I swear to God, I thought that's where they were going with it. But then it's because, like, oh, Robby dated her for a bit, and then she was some mobster's side girl or something like that. And then it's just like, no, she just conned him out of a bunch of fishing equipment, and he just has a very cute little fishy wife, and I'm happy for them. Gyo-Gyo's living that millennial life experience where he's working part-time in the service industry, and he's just trying to get his wife the good present, even though he wasn't able to afford the honeymoon. So you know what, Gyo-Gyo? You're living the hard life in whatever year it is for you, but I know that struggle. I wish you the best, friend. And Aaron Dismuke plays him very quirky and fun and cute, and he's a good boy. Brian Massey, I already touched on, is very fun. Felicia Angeal is super cute, but also uncanny as female Kappa. There's a lot of Kappa around this anime season. Have you noticed that?
I know, right?
I don't know. I'm not going to make an anal joke. That seems beneath me.
Is it though?
Is it? You're
You
right.
Literally just walked into fish, fuck 'em and eat 'em. Literally just walked into that. Make your joke.
All right. You know what? Fair enough. But I will not be the butt of this joke. Ah, god damn it, Kappas and butts. The English language is hard. Dubbing is hard, and I applaud them for doing the English language good. Robert McCullum as Wombat is... Love is power! It's so sultry and cool, and gosh, don't you just love that little pig fucker? God, Robert McCullum is delightful as this character who's there for all of 2 minutes. And I'm glad he is canon with a show like that. Anyways, this is a fun cast, and I enjoyed these characters even though they didn't get too much screen time.
Yes. It's rare we can pick out the sizzle reel, the best of.
Oh, fuck you! Fuck you!
So readily. All right, now that we've had some fun at Andrew's expense,
it happens more often than you think.
This is fair. These are a nice set of performances. At playing the one-off characters in shows like this that tend to have like a small, consistent cast, and then a lot of like, one-off, basically characters who will appear in about one episode, maybe two, and are never seen from again, is always a little bit of a trick. But I think the acting performances we see here are very nice. I agree. Like Aaron's a lot of he's really nice as Gyo-Gyo, just like good, upstanding guy. He wants to do something nice for his wife. He's just very charming and optimistic. It's a nice performance. Brian Massey's really fun as the bar manager, who's just very like he has that air of somebody who works in like a tourist trap town where like you're kind of nice to the customers because they're going to pay you, and as long as they're willing to play a game, you'll be nice and kind of not push them around too much. But like it's clear like no. pay me. Give me my money. That's how this works. You fish and eat the ugly fish, and then you pay me. Felicia Shanjil is also, she's very nice as Kapako, who is more probably plot relevant in a story sense than in terms of like showing up. But I did like her performance, and I don't know what I can add to Robert McCullum as the Wombat. Frankly, he's amazing just by being there. What a delight! What an absolute treat to have in this silly space show. Bless you, silly people. So good performances on a round. On that note, shall we continue on to our next segment, where we will be covering some more one-off characters. Prior to going to those places, our fair crew had to stop at Mars and Pluto in order to refuel or get repairs or whatever reason they came up with that week. And on Mars, they discover the octopus people who are running around there. Except as it turns out, Martians don't actually look like octopuses. It's just their spacesuits they were wearing when they made first contact with humans look like this. And they've been perpetuating the fiction for decades, centuries. It's a little unclear when first contact happened, but so everyone just wears giant mascot suits. And we were introduced to Mr. Taco Kawana, whatever. Him. Who is mayor? Guy in charge?
Mayor president.
Mayor of Mars. He's the one in charge who has been helping perpetuate this facade because tourism's already kind of down on Mars to begin with. He feels that revealing that they are actually humanoid people will disrupt that even further. And we also are introduced to his daughter, who, as far as we can tell, doesn't have more of a name other than that, but who is maybe rather, let's not pretend we're octopuses all the time. This is kind of stifling and a little ridiculous. And then on Pluto, they get to encounter people who are having even worse PR problems, because as we all know, Pluto isn't a planet anymore. It's a dwarf planet, and the Plutonians are not happy. They presumably have real names, but we only know them as Mr. Pluto and Mr. Denshi, the names of the cut-rate mascot costumes they bought off somebody.
Look, I know it's always an easy pot shot to talk about a certain show and talk about how my IQ is smart enough to try and understand it, but this is literally the plot of a Rick and Morty episode. It is literally a plot of a Rick and Morty episode of the Plutonians are trying to regain planet status and literally just kidnap Morty's dad because he's like, Pluto's a planet! That's stupid that they changed it. And they're like, you are the smartest person on our planet now.
Oh god, you're right.
What weird times we live in.
It's good to know that the director of the show had a smart enough IQ to think of it too.
Although my favorite part about these two characters, Mr. Pluto and Miss Denshi, is they mentioned they got the Miss Denshi costume at like half off or free when they bought Mr. Pluto. You know what Denshi is?
What is Denshi?
As far as literally in Japanese, Denshi is meant to refer to like a small object with electronic properties. But I think like one of the things I listed is like an ebook. That I think that might be a word for that. So it's like she has nothing to do with Pluto. There's no reason for them to pick up this mascot character. It's just that it was cheap to do so, and the people in charge of Pluto PR don't make very good choices.
Basically, this entire section is based around Space Sakura Quest.
A little bit.
A little bit, because it's all about mascots and old-timey PR companies trying to improve their image in the modern era.
I think the difference is I think this is a wee bit more cynical about it than Sakura Quest.
Possibly.
Possibly. But gentlemen, did we have any predictions for these characters?
No.
Nada.
Didn't think so. Okay. In that case, let's get on to who's playing these fine roles. Toko Kawaina is being played by John Swayze, who you know for such roles as Zoroku from Alice in Zoroku, All for One from My Hero Academia, and Bruno J. Global from the ADV dub of Macross.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, you're going that far.
That's an old cut. Wow.
I wanted space shows, and what's more of a space show than Macross, the show we can never have.
Well, never say never. Give it another year or two.
Yeah. Die faster, Harmony Gold. Anyways. Tako Kawaina's daughter is being played by Tina Ballard, who you know from such roles as Rinko Yamato from My Love Story, Itsuki Nanako from Quintessential Quintuplets, and Rei Sanka from Sankareya Undying Love. Mr. Pluto is being played by Sonny Strait, who you know as Kōro Sensei in Assassination Classroom, Lupin in the Funimation dubs of various Lupin movies and specials, and Analyzer Unit 9 in Star Blazers 2199. And Miss Denshi is being played by Alexis Tipton, who you know as Yaika in Blood Like a Battlefront, Kaori Tanaka in Shiki, and Honey in Space Dandy.
Oh yeah, she is Honey. Honey's the fucking best.
Yeah, there's enough overlap with the Space Dandy cast that I feel like it was probably done on purpose.
Would not surprise me, but there's some theories about that. Before we go into these character discussions, I have a genuine question I need to ask.
Sure.
Is there a call girl prostitution industry on Mars of people exclusively dressed up as, like, octopuses?
It appears like it, yeah.
How does that work?
It just does.
Do you really want to think about the physics of that, Andrew, or do you want to just accept it and move on?
Just think it's like the King Crimson. It just works.
Rumiko Takahashi, I don't think about it, and neither can you.
I was just gonna say, is it like a built-in fursuit kind of? Or...
Andrew.
Okay.
Finds a way.
You complain about the hole you're digging for yourself, and yet you continue to dig the hole.
Look,
put the shovel down.
I'll eventually find gold, you guys. I swear it.
You're gonna strike a septic tank.
Oh.
All right, we may continue.
Roots, would you like to start us off?
Oh god, I hit a subway tunnel. Anyway, I guess I'll start with the Mars episode. I like John Swayze as Taku Kawaina. He played it with just the right amount of grease, especially when he's interacting with Hachi, because he ropes him into like PR campaigns, and this was like before all the stuff that they accidentally did to fix Mars's reputation when they found out that, you know, the octopus people aren't real. But like he plays Taku Kawaina like a really greasy used car salesman, and I really like that. And yeah, I also like Tia Ballard as his daughter, who's basically kind of tired of it and finds the suit kind of uncomfortable and doesn't want to do it anymore, and then engineers the way in which like everything accidentally happens, that they don't need him anymore. Like I thought the both of them had a really good dynamic. Taku Kawaina with Hachi and his daughter with Robby, which also that like octopus space brothel scene was like really hilarious. Just gonna put that out there. And oh god, Sonny Strait and Alexis Tipton. Like I love how Sonny just puts this frantic energy into Mr. Pluto. Like he is desperate to get Hachi and Robby on board in order to help out Pluto's reputation, even though he's just sinking money in giant robot suits, which by the way are absolute crap. Because it falls apart against like the even crappier built Hizakuriger, which we'll get to in a sec. But yeah, and Alexis Tipton, she plays it like she's just sort of been roped along for the ride. and it's like it's just a bunch of dynamics between one-off characters and the main cast that I'm just kind of bummed. You know, they were probably not gonna get much more out of them unless there's like the last episode where everybody shows up. So yeah, great job all around.
All right, Hardy.
Yeah, I really don't have much to say. I just have, because these are pretty one-off characters, I think they all sounded really fun. And let's see here. I basically just have to agree with Roots. I think they were all really fun, and leave it at that. That's, yeah. Sorry.
Nope. Look, the trouble with one-off characters is that they're one-off characters. They don't do a lot. Andrew.
I'll start with the Mars people for Mayor Octopus Man, because I cannot pronounce Taco Kawaii. Would that
we get
be,
the point.
Anyways, Taco Tuesday did a very good job being this very kooky but out of touch tourist person, where it's like, yes, please tell us more about how great these octopus balls are, and you hear just Hachi just giving them fakest, oh wow, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and the really lame I realized everything, that whole amusement park is like a tea, or they're all like tea kettles, because that's apparently a Japanese thing where there's like octopi in tea kettles, and the only reason I know this is a thing is because I played Splatoon, because that's a thing. Tia Ballard does a good job sounding the cute but somewhat sexual octopus call. Like, that's his daughter. Does he just have like his family just pimping them out to try and get tourism? Is that?
I feel like it's probably supposed to be a little closer to like a host club rather than like prostitution per se.
I would imagine that's probably more like it too, but I think they implied that there was like a strip club, there was like a pole dance or something that they didn't show was happening, which now I beg the question, how do you
that would be more of a burlesque club, I guess?
Yeah. Like margin, a little classier.
How do you pole dance? One of those things? Okay, I am.
That's why they don't show it, Andrew, so they don't have to think about it.
Life finds a way.
This is a real sticky situation I've got us in. Tia Ballard is very cute, but also very sexual in there, and she is also canonically referred to as a snack. I will read the full line because that's something that Robby says to her. Is like, you should never cover a sweet, sweet snack like that in a creepy octopus suit. And it's like, oh boy, that's a thing I just heard. This is a magical show. Tia's very cute, but she's fun, and she wants to not be so hot. Alexis and Sunny are a lot more fun as a dynamic father-daughter Eskimo duo, because they are basically just trying their best at this PR thing, but they are getting ripped the fuck off by actual Yamato copyright OCs. Their names are Kodai and Morisugi, which are played by Riko and Dawn. We're not getting to them, but they are literally just Yamato. The censored spaceships are literally just, it's literally just the Yamato. Like, they like Yamato in this series a lot.
Now, to be fair, there was also the Galaxy Express in there.
There was also the Galaxy Express in there, yes. It's the same author, right?
Those are both Leiji Matsumoto creations, yes.
Excellent, okay. So, but yeah, Sunny is really funny, and Alexis is also very cutesy and fun, and it was very interesting and fun watching these two interact and basically try to workshop PR with Robby and Hachi, and that was a very entertaining episode, but god, they were getting ripped off so goddamn hard. Bless them. Look, they paid for those fucking characters' rights. They're going to use them. Character IPs are not cheap, you guys. I don't understand them, but Sunny and Alexis were a ton of fun, and it was a very entertaining episode with them on Pluto, and they are my favorite Rick and Morty characters.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I enjoy these performances as well. John Swayze's just fun as sort of this used car salesman who's aware that things are getting dire, but is just gonna power ahead anyways. He is a lot of fun as someone who'd just rather not wear a heavy octopus costume all damn day and live a complete lie that goes across her entire species. There's an existential quandary in the Martians' problem that they don't examine, but I like that they don't do that. It's just kind of there for you. They're both a lot of fun, and Sunny and Alexis is just great as these two, like, just not very good PR tourism people. Like, they do not know what they're doing. I feel like part of the joke in this entire series is that everyone's turning to Robby for advice, when it's pretty obvious that Robby does not make good life decisions himself.
Not at all.
But hey, who else you gonna ask for advice from? The robot? What is he doing? Yeah, these are just a fun bunch of performances. I enjoyed them a lot. I am also hoping they will get to come back. I feel like one of us I feel like was suggesting that maybe towards the end all of RobiHachi's PR ideas will fail horribly and everyone will come to hunting for them for their blood.
Basically,
Ooh,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, if that happens, I'm sure we'll get to see everybody come back. A true mad world Mad Cat chase to close the show off. It'll be wonderful. But having said that, let us continue on now to our next section, which features the villains of this piece.
If you can call them villains at all.
Villains.
They are foils.
They're the nominal villains because they're the antagonists of the nominal heroes. Beyond that, who knows? But
I mean, they're basically the Team Rocket.
Team Rocket's a good point of comparison.
Team Rocket's a very good analogy, actually.
But we have Yang, who is a mob boss on Earth in whatever year this takes place in.
Mob Yakuza fashion icon.
He loans out money for a high interest rate is the important part, and he looks very fashionable doing it. I think I saw that in Vogue last week. And he is accompanied by his two lackeys, Allo and Gras, who both wear complimentary, they're kind of these, like, semi-Two-Face outfits where they're, like, one color on each side on the top, and then it gets swapped in their pants.
It's kind of like bubblegum vomit.
What?
What?
The color I was looking is that they were very pink and purple, so they look like bubblegum cotton candy that was puked off the side of a roller coaster.
You have a very vivid imagination, young man.
Look.
I was gonna go for, like, Prince or something, but okay, sure.
Am I wrong, though, is the question.
I'm not thinking about the color of vomit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
answer.
Okay, we'll just say sure.
Let me quote Marge Simpson and just say, it's right, but you shouldn't say it.
There we go.
You know what?
There we go.
That's fair.
But we have our three a little less do-wells. Did we have any predictions?
I did. Yes.
All right. Hardy, why don't you go first?
I don't think I had anyone in particular for Allo. So I'll just leave him out. For Gras, I thought that... I'm dropping her name.
What show?
Megas Bride.
Chise?
Danny Chambers.
Danny Chambers, right. Yeah, I think that she could have played Gras. And for Yang, I had a couple, and they're both very low-hanging fruit. I had Aaron Roberts, and I had J. Michael Tatum.
Yeah. Makes sense. Andrew, Roots, did you have predictions?
For myself, I think when Aro's the guy who's combing his hair all the time, right?
Aro's the tall one. And Gras is the short one.
Okay, so he's the one who's combing his hair all the time. I think for Aro, my thought process was This looks like a character that I could totally see Tyson Reinhardt's comedic voice coming out of this lanky fashion disaster. Gras was one I actually had two because I looked in comparison. I knew Gras had a female seiyuu in Japanese, but I was not sure if they were going to follow suit in the English dub. So in the advent they went with a male actor. I went with Josh Greeley because this looks like a comedic character that Josh Greeley could totally play anyways. And in regards that they did go for a female seiyuu, a woman. In regards that they picked a woman to voice the character of Gras, I thought Megan Shipman would be a very fun fit for this particular character. As for Yang, I was actually thinking, you know, it'd be really funny if another sci-fi English dub leading man played Yang in this cast. So I thought, man, what if Chris Waycamp played Yang?
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it's a very eccentric comedic voice, but in Japanese he's got a very deep voice. Like, I believe it's Tomokazu Sugita. So Gintama is playing Yang, and I thought, you know what? Chris Waycamp could probably pull it off. And it'd be a fun little meta in regards to Yamato.
Alright, Roots.
I did not make predictions.
Oh, right. You keep mentioning that, and I keep just spacing out. Anyways, I did have a few predictions. I thought, well, for one, I thought it would be amusing to have Ian Sinclair somewhere in here, because the obvious Space Dandy comparison, but I thought having him as Yang would be too obvious. So I thought he might be a good Allo. For Gras, I thought Terry Doty might be a good fit, since I also thought they might cast the female voice actor to match with the Japanese. And for Yang, I thought maybe Chris Sabat would be fun, because I think Chris Sabat can be very funny when you cast him in the right roles, and I feel like they don't do that as much anymore because he's Chris Sabat and he has manly hero voice. So I thought that would be fun. But it turns out none of us are right, but almost. Playing Yang, it turns out my belief that was too obvious was not shared by the casting director. We do, in fact, have Ian Sinclair as Yang. As Allo, we have Chris Waycamp, and as Gras, we have Alison Victorin. Ian Sinclair, you know from playing such characters as Yang Wen Li in Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Haha. Brooke in One Piece, and Dandy in Space Dandy.
Oh god, he is Yang from Galactic Heroes 2. That's even better!
Jokes upon jokes in here.
Oh, this is so meta. I love it. Thank you.
Chris Waycamp, you know for playing Jean-Robert Lapp in Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Shota Aizawa in My Hero Academia, and Kodai in Star Blazers 2199. And Alison Victorin, you know for playing roles like Naru in Barakamon, Kuroko Shirai in the A Certain Whatever series, and QT in Space Dandy.
Can I make a joke quickly?
You're going to anyways, go ahead.
I'm going to anyways, you fucking know it. Guys, sometimes in life, you either die dandy, or you live long enough to become Dr. Gel.
Dang it.
Andrew, get back in the cage. Just go.
I apologize for nothing.
I don't understand this joke, but okay.
You need to see Space Dandy, that's all I'm gonna tell you.
I'll see Space Dandy I'll see Space Dandy the same time I see Hunter x Hunter when I have time.
Okay.
When will that be? An excellent question.
Space Dandy is nowhere near the commitment that Hunter x Hunter is. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's a true fact. But what do we think of these performances, Roots?
Yeah, I'm gonna be quick with Allo and Gras. I did really like Chris Waycamp, sort of hard to describe, but like he does the henchman thing really well. Unfortunately, like he is of the three the person I have the least to say, which, you know, probably a good thing, because it basically means just keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing good. But one thing I particularly... Okay, actually, he is involved with what I'm about to say anyway. So, between Allo and Gras, my favorite scene is, I want to say it's like episode 4 or 5, where it's basically where they first met.
Yeah.
I believe that is episode 4, because it's in the middle of the fish one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just randomly there in the episode. They just take a break
Yeah.
for no reason.
But where it's basically Allo's walking down the street and Gras is listening to headphones, and he's trying to get his attention to like improve his life or something like that, and he's just ignoring him, and Allo is just getting angrier and angrier about the situation, and I thought that was like really great comedic timing. So I guess biggest compliment I could give to Chris Wakamp and Alison Victorin is the comedic timing of their two characters interacting with both themselves and Yang is great. Which brings us to Yang. And one thing you need to note is that this character has two sides to himself. He has the really tough loan shark side to him. And then there's also... I'm trying to find a way to word what I'm about to say again, but
He's hot for Robby.
yeah, he is, from what I can understand, a parody of a type of mecha villain that has been prevalent throughout the mecha genre, and that's basically like the gay-coded antagonist, basically, where he basically, because I guess Robby gave him candy when he was first signing his loan, like, Yang took it as a sign of affection, and it basically seems like there's an ulterior motive to Yang chasing Robby down to the ends of the universe to collect on this loan. I don't think he's looking for money. But Ian Sinclair does both the very tough guy persona he puts on for his lackeys, and then also sort of the comedic timing of actually kind of pining for this guy. He plays this duality really well, so kudos, thumbs up. You guys did good.
Yes. Hardy.
Yeah, I have to agree with everything Root said once again. Confession to make, though. Until this episode that we're recording right now, I did not actually know that was Chris Wakamp as Allo.
Ah, interesting.
Usually I'm able to pick out his voice really, really well, and I guess I just blew my mind. What is it? I can't speak anymore. I guess it just passed my mind. But yeah. Now that I know that, I can hear it, and it sounds good. And Allison has played enough little boy characters to know that she brings a real life to Gras. And Yang is just this... He's a treat. He's an absolute treat. He's supposed to be putting on this really tough mafioso type character, and yet he gets flustered by the smallest little things, and Ian Sinclair just goes back and forth between that so very well. Yeah. And let me ask you this. Y'all's favorite part of this show, it's gotta be the end credits. It's gotta be the end credits.
I mean, the show is great, don't get me wrong, but the end credits are magic.
Oh, they're so catchy.
Yeah.
I am not someone who usually has strong feelings about dubbing songs in anime that are sung by part of the cast. But if for the home video release they can record a version of the end credits with these three recreating the song, I will be very happy. It is so
we
good.
gotta get the Funky Boogie dubbed.
It's like a funky boogie with like a hint of a love song almost in there too.
Yeah.
It's very disco. That's what it is.
Right. And Young gets tired out after like 2 seconds. But yeah, these three are really enjoyable. I like it. So.
Indeed. Andrew.
I'll start with Allo, and Allo is interesting because very much thinking of it as like a Jesse and James is very much like these two, like him and Gras are very Jesse and James-ish. Allo is the stuck-up guy who tries curling his hair all the time, but I have a genuine question. What point in life do you think, like, here's the thing, I understand homelessness is an issue, and people, like, have to sleep in boxes to survive, but that is not a box you sleep into when you are a person. That is like finding a lost puppy in the rain kind of box. And it's just, you're just passing expecting there's a little kitty or puppy. No, there's just a human male in there. At what point in life do you sink to where you find yourself in the sad rain puppy box?
I will tell you what point. Because I've been coming off of Bungo Stray Dogs recently. This guy looks almost exactly like Francis.
God, you're right!
At the end of Bungo Stray Dogs, Francis loses all of his money. That's the point where you end up in the sad puppy box.
Oh, well played, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, you lose all of your money in like 20 of your bank accounts, and you just find yourself in the sad puppy box. But lo and behold, he gives him a comb while he's in his sad rain puppy box, and then he becomes a changed man, and then gets a really dumb-looking suit, and then tries to pick up a troubled youth listening to the rap music and the devil worship music, so to speak. You know, all the illicit stuff in your headphones, you know, the rap and the things, probably. And he's like, turn your life around. What? Turn your life around. What? Turn your life. What? I can't hear you. And then he drop kicks him. And then they were friends ever since. But, Allo, Chris Waycamp, I actually did have trouble trying to figure out that was Chris Waycamp too, because it's very interesting tone of voice. It's basically, actually, you know what, thinking about it, is this whole dynamic kind of Yatterman to you guys?
I mean, I feel like this show's drawing on a lot of old, dumb, kind of comedic action shows. But yeah, now that you mention it, there is something Yattermanish about this particular set of villains.
There's the tall one, the small one, and the extravagant fashion disaster flamboyant one.
You're not wrong.
Like, I kind of see it now. It seems very Yatterman, but they're a fun combination of characters. Waycamp is a fun one that I didn't recognize. Alison Victorin is the little chaotic boy who's also a fun character to bounce off. And it's just funny hearing QT again. And Ian Sinclair is just fucking... Oh my god, some of the things that he says. At first he's kind of menacing, but then it's just like, you are just eccentric. It's just some of the deliveries that he gets to say is like, they merge with each other, but why? Just the delivery, but why? And then, like, when they finally get on Mars, there's nothing out here! No, I was wrong, here comes a tumbleweed. And just the dialogue of that fucking kills me. It's just the way he delivered this. And another favorite of mine, I need to find it. When he sees Robby on the TV, he's like, I wonder what bait I'll need to reel you back into my manicured clutches. It's like... like, Ian Sinclair is going very hammy on this, but he is menacing, but also a ton of fun and wacky, and... oh, he is a fucking treat, or, as Robby would call him, a snack.
I'm sure Young would be very happy to hear Robby call him a snack.
Oh boy, would he.
No, these are I am in total agreement. These are some wonderful performances. Chris and Allison are just great as these two lackeys. They're like little like origin spots are probably some of the best stuff in that episode. It's just he just keeps yelling at Gras, even though Gras is obviously listening to loud music on headphones. I'm wondering if that's like a parody of something I haven't seen. That felt very specific to the point where like I was wondering is this a reference to something? And I not think I can spot, but I'm curious about that now. But it was really well played. They play off each other very well. They definitely play off Ian very well. And Ian's just a delight. He is the exact level of like Camp Ham this character requires. I love all his like tough monologuing. I love that he's gets very distraught very easily. I like the part where they're just randomly on a planet where you run everywhere, and he's just having a terrible time with this.
Oh, he's just like, this is the worst fucking day of my life.
His lackeys are into it. I like that part too. Like they're fine. It's just him. It's like, no, young, you're not cut out for this planet. Go somewhere else.
Look, he worked like an hour to get that makeup on, okay? And that thing's probably running harder than he is.
Not to mention how long it took to get his hair just right.
That's a true fact. A lot of aerosol. So much gel.
More like Dr. Gel. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Get out.
Stop that.
We're retroactively kicking off the episode. I'm sorry. One too many.
There's never enough.
Yes. Yeah, Classy
Fair.
Spartan's lines will now be replaced by, I screwed up the joke.
I know what you're Christopher Plummer?
Yeah,
Okay.
I screwed up the joke.
Now I'm imagining everything Andrew says, and Christopher Plummer is like resident dignified baritone.
Now fish. Fuck 'em, then eat 'em.
Oh, no.
Calm down. All
Sorry,
right.
that was a very awful Christopher Plummer impression, but I had to make the joke.
Thank you for trying anyways, friend.
It was the right time. So these were great performances. I love these quote unquote villains. I'm hoping that the last episode Yang finally catches up to him, and at that point Robby has the money and just gives it to him, and it's like, oh, okay. And they just go, they part their separate ways.
Look, at the end of the day, the true reality of it, he doesn't want to be his loan shark. He wants to be a sugar daddy.
You're not wrong.
Oh dear. On that note, let's continue on to the next portion of our episode. This is the Amon portion of the episode where we talk about a thing I love: robots.
Robots!
Yay, robots! I love robots. And we have two robots in this show. First up, we have Iku. He is Robby's robot buddy. He's shaped like a rabbit. He hangs around. He actually pilots the ship. He's clearly much smarter than either of our two leads, but he is in no position to do anything by himself, so he's just stuck with them. Much to his clear irritation, which he vocalizes often and loudly. But we also have another robot. We have the Hizakuriger. The Hizakuriger, which is the robot that's formed when the two ships in Robby's dad's ship combined and form some 70s-ass super robot. Who was apparently from a real 70s-ass super robot show in the world of...
It is a canon anime in the world of RobiHachi.
It is some Mazinger knockoff that someone made real. For completely unclear reasons.
What would rip-off Mazinger be called? Tazinger?
I mean, I'll be honest, I feel like there are probably actual Mazinger ripoffs we could probably point to, but I'm not that knowledgeable about old Super Robot shows to pull one off the top of my head.
Oh,
If you have ripoff Mazinger TV shows you'd like to tell us about, please post in the comments below.
Oh god, no, I can actually think of one. And it's just the giant robot makes desserts, like traditional Japanese desserts.
Oh, what? Yeah, no, I know that one. It's Doamagar.
What was the letter? I think it was like Y.
Hold on a second.
Like
It just makes desserts?
Doamagar D, I
Oh,
believe.
D, okay.
Why have you not shared this information with me
I
before?
thought you knew!
I don't know shit, dude.
It's just like, people people get really hungry and they turn into giant monsters, and this guy has a robot that makes, like, traditional Japanese desserts and just hands it to him in like, the dramatic... It sounds like an action...
It sounds like an actual Japanese commercial that somebody made a TV show, like the time the Geico Caveman's got a TV show.
I mean, it's like 5-minute shorts, but, you know.
Now I need to know what I should start pestering Discotech to bring over.
Oh,
I think Funimation has it, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's out on DVD.
Oh, shit, okay.
Guess what Amon's buying?
So I imagine we probably didn't have predictions for the transforming robot. Do we have any predictions for Iku?
I
had predictions for Iku, yes.
All right. Hardy, you go first.
I went very simple and easy, going straight off of Yamato, so I gave him Sonny Straight's voice.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. Andrew, what did you have?
I'm not particularly sure why I gave this particular person the voice of Iku, but I thought, you know what? I think Damon Mills could be a very funny little sassy robot mascot boy. I figured, why the hell not? Let's try Damon Mills as Iku.
All right. And I didn't have a prediction for Iku. I racked my brain. I just couldn't settle on anything I was happy with before I started watching the show. But we are all incorrect. In fact, Iku is played by Anthony Bowling, who you would know for such roles as Shiro Ayashi in Devil is a Part-Timer, Subaru Ichinose in Space Battleship Tiramisu, and as we just learned this weekend, he's going to play Sakamoto the Cat in Funimation's Dub of Nichijou.
I'm so fucking excited, you guys!
Isn't it great?
Dude!
What world we live in?
I know, right? The Hizakuriger, which is the best robot because it plays its own theme song when it transforms, is played by Chris Guerrero, who you would know for such roles as being the narrator in Double Decker, who in the movie Hells, insert who's on first joke here, and as Aizen Olgaon in Overlord of the Isekai Quartet, the big skeleton Hardy was talking about earlier.
Ainzao Gon.
I gave it my best shot.
To be fair,
watch the
that
show.
is a very odd spelling of Ainzao Gon.
That is true.
You tried.
Well, next time I'll actually have seen Overlord and I know how to pronounce it.
E for effort.
Thank you, Hardy. I appreciate that. What do we think of these two robotic people? Roots, if you start us off.
Sure. Honestly, I don't really have much to say about Chris Guerrero, because basically, the robot yells, it roars, that's about it. That's something Chris Guerrero does very well. But, Anthony Bowling as... Oh god. In order to make this comparison, I have to mention a little bit of trivia here. So, originally, when George Lucas was getting Star Wars into production...
Oh boy.
He had Anthony Daniels was always supposed to be in the C-3PO suit.
Right.
He was a contortionist and performer, so he could get into the suit and do what needed to be done with 3PO. But he was not always intended to be the voice. George Lucas originally had a very greasy car salesman kind of voice in mind, and he was going to give it to I believe Mel Blanc, of all people.
Oh.
And when Mel Blanc went in to record Star Wars, he listened to Anthony Daniels basically pantomiming a performance. He's just like, why not just use this guy? Apparently this came out of Anthony Daniels' autobiography, so, take with a slight grain of salt, but, in any case, I feel like one of the inspirations for Iku was sort of that kind of greasy, fast-talking kind of personality, and, Anthony Daniels does a really great job with it.
Anthony Bowling.
Okay, hold on. And Anthony Bowling does a really great job with it. Here I am talking about Star Wars. But
The road to Star Wars is always a messy one.
He also gets, like, the best one-liners in the entire show. Like, he is a quit machine, if not just the pilot of the ship. His dialogue comes mile a minute. You can never see what he's about to say coming, and you're just on the floor laughing as soon as he's done. Sometimes he doesn't even get to finish, and you're just kind of chuckling at it. But his performance is just a treat here, and it's probably one of my favorites of the show, just because he is so sarcastic and mean-spirited, and so good. God, where was I going with the Anthony Daniels?
Where were you going with this?
It's fun trivia, guys. There we go.
I thought you were going that he kind of sounded like what you would have imagined Anthony Daniels as C-3PO would sound like.
Okay, yeah, you know what? There we go. That's probably where I was going with that.
That makes sense.
But yeah, like, you know, now that I think about it, like, Mel Blanc as C-3PO is a very apt comparison, because Iku feels like a Looney Tunes character. Like, in terms of his personality and how he works off of Robby and Hachi. Like, he feels the most cartoony of the trio. So, yeah, there we go. I segued it in. There we go.
Yeah.
You did it.
But yeah, really great job. I wish I had more to say about Chris Guerrero, but you know, it's like one of those Mike McFarland as Ava Unit 1 kind of things. It's just, he's there, he does what he does really well. It's just not something I'm very good at comparing.
Okay.
Excellent. Hardy.
Yes, same here with Hizakuriger. You can't really say much because he doesn't really say much. It is a thing that exists. As far as Anthony Bowling as Iku, I just adore how he just has no time for their crap. Like, his tolerance for bull crap is just at an all-time low. He just wants off this ship, basically. And there's no way he basically is like Scar in that he's surrounded by idiots. But yeah, he's obviously probably the smartest person in the entire show and never gets the respect he deserves, and you could definitely tell that Anthony gives him that sort of level of frustration and just, God, I'm so done with this crap. And it's really fun to listen to the one-liners and quips and salty comebacks that he brings out. Best one being, that's robophobic.
Okay, I don't know if like Leah or Dallas had played Danganronpa V3 or not, but that line comes up a lot in that game, and I was wondering if they knew that playing it or not.
Well, Dallas has been playing through the first Danganronpa game on his Let's Play channel. It's very possible he's played the third one already.
I don't know if he has, but I would be excited to hear if he is, because V3 is... Okay, look, all the Danganronpas are wild, but V3 is somehow the most wild. That's all I'll say.
But yeah, anyways, I really enjoyed this performance. I thought it was hilarious, and he's doing a good job.
Excellent. Andrew.
I'll make it quick with, okay, how do you say it? He's a
Kuriger.
Thank you, Hardy. He's a Kuriger. Chris Guerrero as He's a Kuriger is very cool and metal and stuff. I almost was thinking maybe he's gonna sing the theme song, but as of the simuldub, he has not sung his own theme song yet, so that makes me a little sad. But he's very cool, awesome robot-y boy, and he's very badass, but whenever he's on screen, he's fun and doing something very stupid with his bottom bitch and top heavy master. Hold for applause. Hold for applause.
Crickets.
Yeah. And technically, he's the one who catches the fish.
He is the
That's
one who
true.
catches the fish. He cries the fish out. Literally, there's tears streaming down his face. Also, literally, motherfucker's just like, hey, this thing can survive space. It can survive the ocean, right?
Look, I don't know who told you Robby knew anything,
Look,
but they were lying to you.
this is a man who has been in debt at least 5 different times to at least 12 different women. I can believe that he would think, oh, this can survive space, it can survive water, too. He seems like that level of intelligence, which is...
It's like that time someone threw a chicken on stage in an Alice Cooper concert. Alice Cooper, he's from Detroit. It's a chicken. It's a bird. It has wings. If I throw it over the audience, it'll fly, right? Right?
See, now I want to know why somebody brought a chicken into an Alice Cooper concert.
It was the late 60s. It was a weird time.
You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. And I'll say this. While Robby is anything but bright, Iku is 120% done with his shit. How did he get a robot that hates him so fucking much?
I can only assume he inherited it from his dad. I can't imagine Iku is following him around willingly.
You know what? That would make sense. Also worth noting, Robby is a rich boy who kind of left home because he's like, fuck rich people. But, yeah. Iku is just... Anthony's sardonic tone of voice is just so sarcastic and just like, oh, God, I don't want to be here right now. My feet hurt. Everything sucks. My partners are horny and dumb and crazy. I want to go home and go watch Spaceballs. And some of my favorite Iku lines of dialogue involve the following. Dude, your breath reeks like booze and stuff. Gross. Another favorite of mine is, I heard that too much joy gives you gas. Which, God, I don't... Just the delivery of that was fucking gold. But my actual favorite thing he says is early on in the series, episode 1. You're a smart guy until a woman shows up and then you turn into an arrogant douchebag beefcake with no beef. Which, God, that is probably one of the most fire burns I've ever heard. Fucking hell, Iku is a savage little robot bastard. And he's adorable, too. Like, all the fucking quirky faces he makes. Anthony is delightful as this quirky robot boy. And it is just a ton of fun listening to him just spew this shit out of his mouth. He is a delight, and he is a great little... you know, going back to the whole Team Rocket comparison, he is the Meowth to their Jesse James.
Wait, is this show about one Team Rocket chasing another Team Rocket because the first one owes them money?
Sure,
I mean,
we'll
it's basically a battle of the rockets.
Oh.
I mean, this is in space. They are flying
God,
ships, but you can call it rocket battle.
It's like, okay, bear with me here. Like, RobiHachi and Iku are Jesse James Meowth, and the bad guys are Butch and Cassidy, who are slightly more competent than Jesse and James, but they are still idiots.
You know what? That sounds on point.
I like this. Andrew, did you have anything else?
No, that's basically it. I already forgot the name of the Hizakuriger.
Yes.
Hizakuriger. Guerrero's fun, and Anthony Bowling is a delicious little robo bastard.
Cool. I agree. These are both great performances. Chris makes good, excellent super robot noises. This is one of these roles where I sometimes forget that, like, when they have like non-talking animals and robots and stuff, they do have to dub those over for the dub, and I almost never end up thinking about it. It's just like, oh yeah, it's a robot. It makes robot noises. I'm sure they brought a robot in to record these robot noises. He's very good at that.
You joke, but they did do that for Dragon Ball Super. They just brought an actual robot in to voice Vegeta. Okay, they did actually. Okay, they did actually bring in a robot. They used like a software program to do Vegeta's voice. Microsoft Sam or something. Something like that, yeah.
Right. But Chris is good. He makes good super robot noises. I enjoy him a lot. And Anthony is hilarious. He is, as already said, he's clearly the smartest person in this entire show, and he is surrounded by just the dumbest people. The dumbest. And whatever patience he had dealing with, like, Robby clearly burned out long ago, and the fact that Hachi's, new to him is not making him any more tolerable. But he is just so funny. He has such good lines, and he delivers them so well. He's just the perfect right combination of, like, angry, but also completely aware of the fact that he can't do anything about his annoying lot in life, so he just has to deal with it until I don't know what happens. Who knows? Maybe Robby will bite it and he can take the ship and fly off somewhere else. But until then, he is great here. He is so much fun, and I'm so happy he is playing this role. But now, shall we go to our final two cast members of the night?
Oh,
yes, please.
boy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to our leading idiots.
Oh, you bet. We have our two leads, Robby and Hachi. Robby is a girl-crazy ne'er-do-well who is incapable of staying out of debt and constantly trying to use get-rich-quick schemes that always backfire. And Hachi is a dude who was initially hired to go steal his money. No, sorry, he was bored. And then Robby, who randomly ran in one day and said, like, hey, you should go outside your comfort zone, do things that are dangerous.
And then the next day he tried to rob him.
Yeah, so he decided to become an enforcer for a mob boss, whose first target happened to be Robby. How about that? But now they're on vacation, going to Isakandar, because why not?
And everything is so exciting.
Oh, you bet. And he knows it's exciting because Yelp told him. he loves that Yelp.
Oh God, he is a hardcore Yelpist.
Oh, there's a bit in the Netflix show Masters of None where Aziz Ansari's character makes a point of, like, he cannot choose where to go to eat without scrutinizing, like, every food review site on the planet.
Serious question.
That is Hachi.
God, that's so fucking accurate. But serious question. What would somebody who frequents Yelp be called? A Yelper? A Yelpist?
I don't know.
Yelper seems about right.
Yelper sounds funnier.
Yelpery?
If they were a dog, would they be Old Yelper?
Ooh, that's a groaner, but that's good. Ooh.
No, Ma, I'll do it.
I'll make the 5-star reviews.
Look. What do you think about it? Hachi very much is just a brand new, like, puppy golden retriever that is so excited about the world and just wants to pee on everything. I mean, eat everything.
So on that note, did we have any predictions for these two characters?
I did.
Shoot then.
Well, I went with... See, Robby's voice in the Japanese is so distinct. There really isn't any other actor who sounds like him. Mm-hmm. And usually when we hear this kind of acting, we have our safe choice, which is Ian Sinclair. Because he's played, I think he's played this actor before. And so he was my safe choice. But at the same time, I didn't want to go completely safe. And so I kind of went... I gave it a few options, actually. I had Alejandro Saab, and I actually went completely in the opposite direction and got Marcus Stivic. Yeah. And for Hachi, I also had my safe choice, which was Micah Solusad. But then I also set aside Damon Mills and another actor who I didn't, if I can recall correctly, I think I said Kyle Ignacy. So
interesting. All right.
Andrew, did you have predictions?
I had one prediction for each of these characters because I looked at them and what they acted like and sounded like in the Japanese, and I had one very specific voice for the both of them.
Mm-hmm.
For starting with Hachi, I looked at him and the way his character acted, and I thought Justin Briner would be a very good fit for this particular character in terms of his personality and in terms of his appearance. I thought Justin Briner would have been a very good fit. As for Robby, I thought he seemed a little bit older, or acted and seemed a little bit of an older person. So I thought somebody who maybe sounded a bit older and maybe a little bit more of a veteran actor. And I thought to myself, I look at him and I just think, man, this seems like something Eric Vale would do. So I went Eric Vale and Justin Briner, and as soon as I made those predictions, I realized this accidentally became Deku and Shigaraki's Excellent Space Adventure.
Oh dear.
It's a hands-off experience because when hands are on deck, things get messy.
Oh dear.
Cage.
Thank you. What tapioca? I meant because literally one destroys his hand and the other destroys people with his hands. There is nothing sexual about that until you make it that.
You made it that! Based on everything else you've said for the past hour and a half!
Jared, when have I ever made something sexual in my life? How dare you?
Fish. Fuck him and eat him.
You know what?
Does that mean you're a scaly, Andrew?
Oh, fuck. Did Megan put you up to that one?
Yep.
God damn it. God fucking damn it.
Now.
Alright.
As thou. Is everyone okay?
Yes, Amon,
Give me a
did
minute.
you? Okay.
You take your time, Roots.
I'm good.
Yes,
I'm good.
I did have some predictions. For Hachi, I thought Alejandro Saab would be a lot of fun here. I thought he fit the right range. I feel like this is a character type he can play very well. I thought he'd be a good choice. And I was having some trouble with Robby because I also thought he sounded very distinctive. He was not a character who like someone immediately popped in my head for. But I'm doing some thinking. I thought Rico Fajardo might be fun here.
Ooh.
He seemed like a good character for him to try out. But we are all wrong. For Hachi, we in fact have Stephen Fu, who you might know for such characters as Lao in Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Ruka Gojo in Nanbaka, and Yasuo Nambu in Star Blazers 2199. And for Robby, we in fact have Chris George, who we know for such roles as Yugo in Jormungand, Maybach Wilhelm in Space Battleship Tiramisu, and he is Popuko in the second half of the 10th episode of Pop Team Epic, which I mentioned because as far as the dub goes, that might be my favorite episode of Pop Team Epic. So good on him.
He's also the episode narrator for A Legend of the Galactic Heroes Di Noia Tessa. And
that's right.
And he's the reason why I know how to pronounce Di Noia Tessa, and none of you other filthy plebeians can.
Hey, now.
It's not that I can, it's that
I know how to pronounce Di Noia Tessa.
It's not that I don't, it's that I'm tired and I don't want to.
It's not that I don't know, it's that I don't want to.
Gentlemen, what do we think of these two performances?
Well, I get the feeling I know why they're always broke. Because they're always spending money on that stupid bitch juice.
Oh.
Like, they just get it by the drum. And I like that both Chris and Steven get that out of these two characters. Like, they play off of each other so well, too. Like, it almost feels like they record their lines in the same room, even though I know that they don't, because Funimation doesn't have a facility that would let them. But they just have such good chemistry, and I honestly can't think of another time where they've actually worked together on this kind of capacity on a show. And it's like this chemistry is palpable. They just blow one-liner after one-liner after one-liner against each other. Like, Hachi is incredibly book smart but street dumb. Robby's just dumb.
He's not a smart man.
Like, as we said before, he falls for get-rich-quick schemes so quickly, and sometimes they actually succeed, but in doing so, he accrues so much debt that the money that he makes off of this scheme, he has to pay back to people, and it's just, like, the two of them are so funny together. And they play off of the one-time characters so well. Like, this is just, for a principal cast in a show where it's largely, I don't want to say anthology, but it's, what?
Episodic?
It's episodic, yeah. Where a small group of characters meet a wider cast that doesn't stick around. Like, that is very important, and I think the two of them do a really great job anchoring the secondary cast as well as they do. So, great job, you guys. Thumbs up.
I just have to ask, are Robby and Hachi more of a Laurel and Hardy or a Harry and Lloyd type of duo? Or even a Harold and Kumar in some certain ways.
I would say Laurel and Hardy, because they feel more like an old school slapstick duo.
Yeah, they definitely have. Yeah, they're a little closer to that because they have some ambition in life.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying to accomplish things, but they're also a little dumber than Laurel and Hardy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Robby and Hachi go to White Castle.
Yeah, exactly. No, pretty much. I mean, you're not wrong.
I would watch these fucks try to go to a White Castle, and it would...
These are 100% dudes who get too high and try and go to White Castle.
Oh my god, watch Iskandar just be a White Castle.
Oh god, I want this now!
And then they get there, and they have to work there because they've accrued so much debt.
Look, Iku's probably carrying. Who are we kidding?
But yeah, no, I really like these two, especially Robby, because I did not know Chris George was capable of doing this sort of performance. This is so different than most of what he's ever done, because he usually plays these large, stoic, manly type figures, and here we get to hear him as this sort of uppity, not so exactly street smart, but just dude bro type, and it's really, really fun to listen to. And honestly, Chris George's Robby is easily one of my favorite performances in any dub of this year so far. And the way he plays off of Stephen Fu's Hachi, who's just so excited about everything. He's like, oh, I got arrested. How exciting. Oh, I hate to work at a fish restaurant. How exciting. Like he's a Pollyanna type character who always looks at the positive of every situation that they're put in. And hearing him and someone who's polar opposite like Robby work off together is just such a treat. And so, yeah, this Stephen Fu is really good. Chris George is really, really good. And I really love this pair a whole lot.
Andrew?
Okay, so if I had to describe the character of Hachi first and foremost, is that I realized what he is not... He is not a dog chasing after cars, even though that's very applicable. It's... Have you ever seen the epic cat song? It goes as the following. I have the lyrics right here. Holy shit, it's another fucking day. It's the best day ever again. Cause I'm a stupid fucking cat and I don't know shit. And I don't know what it is to be sad. I think I'll run around for no good reason and act like there's stuff I gotta do. I have no idea how much the world sucks. Cause I have no reference level. Holy hell, that guy's bringing me food. This food sucks, but I don't even know it. And now I'm shitting in a box because I don't give a fuck. And the guy throws it out for me. Basically, there's more to that song, but it's basically, I just think of this character right now.
Holy Christ, it's a piece of paper.
Yes! You do know the song I'm talking about! You do know the one I'm talking about!
I've known that song for 10 years, Andrew.
I have no idea how pointless I am, and I don't even know I'm gonna die. Now I get to fucking bed, cause I gotta get some fucking rest, cause it's the best day ever tomorrow. And that's what I see about... That's what I see about Hachi in particular, now that he's on this adventure that is no longer has rails anymore. It's just like, yo, we're gonna get mugged! We're gonna die! Holy shit, there's hot octopus ladies! Holy shit, I just burned my tongue! Oh my god, I have indigestion. Okay, you know what it is? He would go to Mexico and drink the tap and have diarrhea for an hour and a half and be like, this is the fucking best. That's who Hachi is. Also, is he like secretly rich or something? Because he tries paying for that thing and he's like, let's work it off. I think that's what they imply. Okay, I should probably actually talk about the performance here. Steven... I just...
You mean the thing we do on this podcast?
Yes, we do tend to do that. I just thought about that. Hachi as a character reminds me of that song, and I just had to sing it.
You mean our jobs?
Yes, our jobs. Thank you for reminding me how to do
gerbs.
Thank you for reminding me how to do my gerb.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Andrew took my gerbs.
Okay, now back to doing my job. Stephen Fu's a very interesting voice because I've heard him in a couple of things, but I don't think I've quite gotten accustomed to his particular tone of voice. It's a very high-pitched, sort of soft-spoken, like, it sounds kind of cool and suave, but he can definitely hit some of those really high registers. But he's also really funny, and when he's bouncing off of Chris George's much more, like, low-tone sarcastic, and he's much more higher-pitch, energetic, and cheerful, wow! This is awesome! It's just great. And he's also just got some really great lines. I also love the fake monotone thing he's doing when he's advertising for Planet Mars. And it's just like, oh my god, this planet's so cold. Hey, Robby, look at my teeth. Just starts clacking his fucking teeth. I'm like, that's what he reminds me of, is that he is basically somebody who's lived, like, a successful life, but he likes his life being fucking crazy. So as soon as it's like, yo, we're stranded. This is awesome. That's what Hachi is. And Steven plays him with such whimsy and charm that he's just so much fun to see with Robby, who is just a dude who has just been beaten down by life, and he is just, oh god, he gets to say some of the funniest things in the fucking world. He also, like, is really stupid and he's in debt because he's horny and stupid. Also, some of my favorite quips from Chris George as Robby. My life's like this moody, bipolar roller coaster of misfortunes. There's also this really great, like, don't bait me with that hipster emo, I'm nobody important crap. And then he's like, if I was a snooty prudy and always stuck on the beat and narrow. Spaceballs. Who turns down fruit stacks? So, oh wait, no. What is my actual favorite thing he said? Oh, I remember my favorite thing he said. So you're saying there's some serious weebs out there and this robot was created by a fan of that anime. Cool, what's it doing on my spaceship? The fact that we got so Weebs made this ship is a thing that happened. It just Chris George has just this great gruffness to his voice that he's just so done with it, and he is so fucking funny. Him and Steven are just a delightful chaotic comedic duo, and it's great. And I gotta say, hats off to you, Chris George, for making anime Shaggy relatable and fun.
Oh god, you're right.
My mentions were ruined for 2 days because I was tagged in a post that was pointing out that he looked like Shaggy.
I mean, he does have that vibe of surfer bro who doesn't actually know how to surf.
Zoinks, Hachi! We gotta go get to Isakandar! We gotta get them Scooby Stacks and pick up some babes!
Zoink, Scoop, we're off to space!
Uh-oh.
Let's go get some good food!
Oh, what if we rot?
Oh, we wrought chaos and misfortune. But
true.
anyways, Stephen Fu and Chris George are fantastic, and I enjoyed the both of them.
Excellent. These are just some wonderful performances. One thing I do like about this is that I feel like Stephen Fu and Chris George, not that I've seen everything they've been in, but I feel like they're actors who generally don't play the lead of the stuff they're in. And it's nice seeing them here both because, it's always nice when the actors you like get more leading roles and stuff, but also just because these two are just so funny throughout. Stephen Fu is just perfect. He is just the right level of just naive excitement. I love how pointless excited he is about everything. I love the little rant he gives when Robby calls him out on is it Robby Iku who calls him out of you're the person who always goes on Yelp for everything, but you never leave any reviews. And he goes on his little rant about how many meals are left in his life.
I have 67,000 meals. I want all of the things in my mouth to not be garbage.
Isn't it his perfectly moisturized lips or something?
Yes, he does say. He says the phrase "perfectly moisturized lips."
It's just he's so good at this character who could probably kill you if he wanted to, but is way more interested in going to all the hot spots and eating at the nice restaurants. He is a very particular type of space millennial, and I appreciate how well Steven has captured that. It's very well done. And Chris George is Robby. Knowing what Chris George is looking like, this is not a sound I would ever expect to come out of that person. He's so good, and he sounds so distinct, and if not unique, at least unique for what I usually expect out of him. And he's also just he's so perfect as this guy who's in theory kind of a chill, lax dude, but not really at all because he's kind of his own worst enemy and incapable of making any good decisions. And he sells that so well, and all of his line deliveries are so good. Just the one about the weaves, or the one about the whole conversation's just it's a robot. It can survive in space. It can survive underwater. Duh.
Yeah. Obviously, his bottom boy comments.
I think that was the point where I was yeah, okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep watching this. This is too silly. I can't not watch it.
I'm engrossed now.
Pretty much. It's just this is ridiculous.
You had my curiosity, now you have my attention.
A little bit. Well, actually, I think that moment was when the robot started playing its own theme song.
Fair enough.
That was the moment for me, but the conversation afterwards certainly helped. Yeah, they're both just really funny and good at these characters. They feel perfectly cast. They feel they're so on point in every scene. I love them. It is so great. This feels I feel like I've seen some really good comedy dubs in the last 2 years, but I feel like this one is just clawed its way to the top with almost no effort. It's really impressive, and I think Chris and George are a big reason for that. I feel like if these roles had been not as well cast, I think that would have affected the show a lot, but they feel perfect. And I can think of literally no one else who I'd want playing these characters other than them. But on that note, we'd like to move on to our final thoughts.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh yeah. All right. Who goes first? Roots. Yes.
So it's kind of interesting how these Dub Talk Impressions episodes end up. Like, every once in a while, I'll just have somebody come up to me and like, hey, do you want to be a fourth guy in this episode? Because I need a fourth guy. And I'm like, sure, I'll be the fourth guy. And then the show I watch for the episode ends up being one of my favorites of the season that I probably wouldn't have gotten to until much later had I not been on the episode. This happened with Hina Matsuri last year. And it happened again this year with RobiHachi. Or RobiHachi. I keep calling it
I think it's technically. I think it's supposed to be. I think it is RobiHachi, but I pronounce it RobiHachi just because I associate with robots. And God, fucking. God, Hina Matsuri was so fucking good, guys.
But, like, the comedic timing is so perfect, and it turns around and it lampshades and lampoons and parodies, like, a bunch of classic sci-fi anime that I just really, on their own merits, love. And just, the show takes a lot of care in how it treats the stuff it parodies, because it's not just on the surface stuff. It's even with the dub, you know, you have characters who were like the leads in Space Battleship Yamato playing parodies of the characters they played here as like PR people, and it's just so good. And I am honestly legitimately surprised that this is Dallas Reed's first directorial, like, full-on anime directing gig. Because this is... It feels really nice and clean and professional. So, obviously, I say, oh, I would recommend this to blah blah blah, or, you know, something else. But, you know, I would just flat out, hey, check out the first 3 episodes. Even if you're not really into sci-fi, this is probably going to make you laugh really hard. And I would definitely recommend the dub over the sub for this. Just because the quips and one-liners just keep coming, and they feel like they belong in the show. And that's... like, if you're going to throw jokes left and right, that is the important part. So, this gets a definite recommendation from me. This may even later on take some dubbies, but we'll have to see what the summer and fall hold.
Let's put it like this. You never know how the year turns out. There's always some surprises in store.
But this is probably... I would definitely say of the 5 episodes we have as of the time of recording, this is probably my favorite spring cycle dub.
Okay.
Hardy?
Yeah. I have a confession to make. The past few seasons, the Dubtalk crew has asked what shows I would want to be interested in doing episodes on. And for the past few seasons, it's been slim pickings for me. There are just shows that I just don't know, that I'm just not really interested in. But I knew from the first episode of this one, I said, look, I want to be on this one. It was that good. And the dub just turned out so great. The show is hilarious. The one-liners are fun. The characters are fun. If only the animation was better.
Oh, yeah, it's
not good.
Yeah. Okay. That's a fair point.
It doesn't look terrible, but it's
Space Dandy on a shoestring and lint budget, basically.
Though I will say, to be fair, the giant robot stuff I think was meant to be kind of janky CG for the sake of being janky CG, to make fun of other mecha shows that have janky CG.
Look, this is a show it's a comedy that can kind of get away with being janky looking. Like, the humor is what saves it, for sure.
Yeah. That is my only thing. That's the only thing I dislike about this show, is that the animation is rather subpar. And if you think about it, if Pony Canyon was still around, or Pony Canyon USA was still around, not only would this not get a dub, they'd want to charge like $10 an episode for this.
Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank God for the changing tides in the market for sure, because this is. Oh, sorry. Were you?
Yeah. On the plus side, there's no CGI bears, so I mean, not yet at least.
Not yet. Anyways, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
That's to you. I love that ugly CGI animal. It is great.
But yeah, no.
The Lou Ferrigno Hercules scene with the bear, where he throws it into space and it becomes a constellation.
Oh God, you're doing golden. Oh, you're talking Golden Kamuy. It took me a second. I was like, oh God.
But yeah, no, other than the animation, I think the show is great, and I definitely recommend watching it. I think it's sort of a sleeper hit. More people should give it a shot. And if you can look past the subpar animation, you'll get a real gem right here.
Okay, so, credit where it's due. Like, this is a very goofy show, and if you're watching this expecting a lot of serious stuff, this is like, it's a lot of parody stuff to retro sci-fi mecha space opera comedy stuff. So if you know your references, you'll get a kick out of certain things. But even if you don't know a lot of those, you'll just get a kick out of the goofy comedies and fun character dynamics. But what really sells this for me is the adaptation, the line deliveries, as well as the English adaptative lines of the show are amazing. And I know some of these things would not be the way they are in the Japanese, and I am infinitely much more entertained in the English version of this than I was in the first 2 episodes of the Japanese broadcast. Dallas, I am very excited to see what future directorial adaptations you will get to work on in the future, because this is a very promising one to really springboard off of. And Leah Clark, holy shit, this was a riot. I'm almost curious to check out Space Battleship Tiramisu, since I imagine I'll get a lot of similar stuff in that too. This is a delightful cast and crew. I'm not going to say it's like my favorite of the season, since it's not specifically my kind of brand, but I was very entertained by the show, and this was a good time all around.
You might also want to check out Chio's School Road. It's got a lot of the same.
I really should check out Chio's School Road. I saw the first 2 episodes and like it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I should do that.
Yeah, it's got a lot of that signature Leah Clark writing to it.
Excellent.
So I have a similar story to Roots here, which is that there was a show this season that basically from the minute it was announced, I was looking forward to it, and I was hoping it would get a dub, and I could host that episode. But as of today, May 26th, there is no Demon Slayer dub, and I cannot host that episode.
Someday, my friend.
I know.
Maybe sooner than later. You never know.
But I did want to host something, and this was suggested to me, and this was a show that I had seen before, and I thought, all right, this looks like something I might enjoy. And then I actually watched it, and it was like, oh my god, this is so me, it hurts. It's like 8 weird niche things I love all mashed together for no apparent reason, and I don't know why they decided to make this, but I'm so happy. And the dub on this is so good on top of that. It is so funny and sharp and well cast and well directed. This is, like I said, this might be, like, of the current season, this might be my personal favorite dub, even in the face of stuff like, Fruits Basket, which are clearly, like, much more, like, ambitious, high-minded shows, but which do not appeal to my own weird things that I love, like mascots and awful tourist traps that no one actually wants to go to. This is so great. I am now looking forward to Dallas getting to direct more things, because he is clearly very good at this, and I'm so hyped to see what he does in the future. This is great, and I'm so happy it's here.
Hopefully, they'll visit a planet of skeletons next. and or Black Panthers shooting lasers from their eyes.
It just turns into the side of a van from the 70s.
Molly Hatchet van.
Oh god.
They just visit a planet of Frank Rosetta paintings. It's just, Robby, what's this Iku, where are we now? It's like, I don't know, it's just full of like overly buff people who are kind of naked and fighting each other with axes.
Yeah.
Even the horses are buff. This is weird.
It's like heavy metal in real life.
Oh god.
Oh. But if you would like to watch the dub for RobiHachi, you can currently see it on Funimation.com. I believe you will need a a membership to watch. I think the first episode might be up for free, but beyond that, you'll need to be a member. You can sign up for a free 14-day trial to check it out, but do note you will need to put in your credit card information, and you will get charged at the end of those 14 days if you don't cancel. So, if you don't want to, if you have enough subscription services and you don't want to add that on, keep that in mind. But you might go on there and realize how wonderful it is to be a Funimation member and keep doing it, which is also good.
Over 9,000 episodes, yada yada yada.
Yada yada yada. So much anime, just the head spinning amount. And if you would like to follow us, you can find us. Obviously, we're here on YouTube, where you're probably watching us. Please like and subscribe and do all that nonsense. And you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitch at dubtalkpodcast. Dubtalkpodcast.
Mm-hmm.
And gentlemen, why don't you do your spiel? Where can we find all of you?
Alright, you can find me on the twitter.com at Roots of Justice, mainly retweet cute animal pics, talk general fandom stuff. It's a good time, you should come check me out. I also have some solo stuff that I'm kind of scripting out right now, and I kind of want to have something available in September. We'll see. Probably gonna end up leading into like October, but I want to actually get a lot of use out of the video editing software I got on the Humble Bundle last year, so yeah. Hopefully I will be doing some vlog projects here coming up. So, yeah.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter at SpacemanHardy. I do a lot of art retweets, specifically Final Fantasy and stuff like that. I'm also a moderator over at Funimation's forums and on their Discord, so feel free to come visit me over there and we can hang out.
Hi, my name is Andrew, aka Classy Spartan. You can find me on Twitter at Mangaman9000. I'm a community manager / moderator for the Funimation forums and Discord. I'm also another podcaster for Surreal Resolutions podcast ONA alongside fellow Dubtalk podcast cohort Jet.
And you can find me on Twitter at AmonDuelUS. Duel has 2 U's in it. Where I talk about music and movies and comic books, and will occasionally read something I saw. I work at a comic book store, so sometimes I'll give a short review of something I happen to read there that day. I read a weird, fucked up thriller manga today. It was nice for certain values of nice.
What was it?
Sweet Sugar Life. It got like an anime.
Oh,
last season.
Happy Sugar Life!
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah, that
boy.
was
An
worked.
interesting one.
Oh, you bet.
Oh boy, yeah.
But as people who've listened to the podcast know, when I'm on an episode, I like to give a dusty old song,
Woo, Dusty
which
song!
I'm going to.
Woo!
I'm going to give one to you today. So I wanted to say to myself, all right, so it's in space, so we want something spacey. And oh, look at this ending theme! It's all this like night dancey, disco-y thing. What's something that I can find that's a little dancey and a little funky, but also a little spacey?
I know where this is going.
Now, let me preface this by saying that when I brought up Bootsy Collins earlier, that wasn't an accident.
Oh.
If you want something that's a little funky and a little spacey, might I recommend to you Mothership Connection (Star Child) by Parliament. The best song to party on the Mothership.
Oh yeah.
And I would highly recommend the album. It is from Mothership Connection as well. It is a wonderful introduction to the weird and wild world of the whole P-Funk universe and everything George Clinton has done. So do that, enjoy it, groove, expand your mind, and your ass will follow. It's great.
Thank you very much.
So I think that about wraps it up. Any final thoughts?
Let's all go to Isakanda. Let's all go to Isakanda.
Let's all go to
Let's all go to Isakanda.
Oh God, we're sorry about your ears.
I should note my favorite part of every episode is definitely that stupid jingle. It makes me so happy every time I hear it.
All right.
Well,
Otaku
On that
on,
note.
my friends, and let's all go to Isekanda.
good night, nerds.
Oh God, dude.
踊